Can y'all hear me now? I'm sorry. Can y'all hear me? See, that's what I'm saying. I got to get a new setup. I'm so sorry, everybody. I don't want to start over. I hate when I have a bad show, but I don't want to start over. But again, good morning. Welcome to the AC Star Morning Show. My bad. The mic is, I'm trying to get a new mic, and my computer is just not my friend. But what I wanted to say was, today is February 5th, 2021. We're going to try this again, right? I want to say good morning to everybody and welcome to the AC Star Morning Show. My bad on the technical difficulties. Can y'all hear me now? Can I get a 1 in the chat if y'all can hear me now, please? Let me know if y'all can hear me. Let me get a 1 in the chat if y'all can hear me. Let me get a 1 in the chat if y'all can hear me. And again, I'd like to thank Miss FedEx for showing up to class on time. Again, this is the AC Star Morning Show, episode 8. This is February 5th, 2021. My topics today is going to be kind of diverse. The first thing I wanted to talk about was the country music star kind of stepped into it. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Miss FedEx. Okay, thank you, sweetie, for letting me know that you couldn't hear me. My mic was acting up. I had it off, but I think this button down here doesn't work as properly as it should. But again, I wanted to talk about the Morgan Wallen guy. I'm not too familiar with him. You know what I'm saying? I'm not too familiar with his music. I'm definitely not a country music fan. But I did see the video on TMZ. And I do see the backlash that he's facing. You have radio stations saying that they don't want him, they don't want his music being played on their radio and everything. But let me say this, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just say this, right? Even though he used the word, he wasn't using that word to call black people. He was referring to his friend. And this is a tragic episode of when keeping it real goes wrong. Because he actually was trying to keep it real and it went wrong for him, right? Drinking and he's with his friends. And see, that's why you just never know who's filming. You never know who's watching. There's always somebody watching. Some miserable person that can't sleep, that just want to take advantage of something, got a camera rolling, got a camera on. And somebody caught him using that language. And I understand the backlash, but at the same time, it's like, did he really say it like to be, obnoxious? Did he really say it to like hurt black people or to be demeaning to black people? No, he was trying to be cool and he was trying to appropriate our culture within his intimate confines. And because somebody was filming, unfortunately, it was caught on mic. It was caught on camera, so he can't deny it, right? But if we're being honest and we're keeping it in context, it wasn't necessarily him doing this to offend black people or use the language towards another African-American person or any person of color, right? He was doing it trying to be cool and he was using it as a term of endearment. He was showing the world that behind the scenes, he uses this word, but he uses it loosely to identify the people that he think is his friends, right? And this is where we get to see a view into their world where they use the word, right? Where they use the word. Peace, Aries. What's up, bro? Peace to you, big bro. Good morning to you, my brother. Where they use the word, right? So this is one of those instances where he's going to pay a heavy price for appropriating our word, right? Like that, at the end of the day, that's all this is about. Like, it's not that he was like other incidents we've seen with the Kramer guy and the Cooper guy, Riley Cooper from the Eagles, or any other incident where we've seen people be like, and nigga, right? To be demeaning towards black people. But in this instance, he was using the word to kind of, kick it with his friends. He drunk. He like, yeah, make sure you take care of him. I don't want to play it. I don't want to, I don't want to sensationalize it. But he was using, what's up, Dwayne? Big up, my brother, big up. So he was using the word more or less to like, be cool with his friends. And so now he's about to get canceled. And this goes back to my yesterday's episode, right? Where we talk about throwing people away. So now this young man's whole career is going to be thrown away because we're in such sensitive racial climate, right? Because that word is taboo. And right now it's really taboo, right? Seeing how the Trump administration and all the confluence of things that's taking place, like he did this at the wrong time, right? He did this at the wrong time because they're not going to put what he did in context. They're just going to broad stroke it. And in no way am I condoning what he did. But like, let's be honest here. Like, we can't be too critical of the dude because he was trying to be cool. He thought he was being cool. I'm talking about Morgan Wallen, big bro, Aries. It's he's a country music star, and he got caught on video the other day on TMZ. If you look it up, it's on it. And he was talking to his boys, him and his friends. They had came home from drinking or whatever, and he was getting out the car, and he had told the girl, you know, he used a couple curse words just to describe like the P word, and was like, yeah, man, you take care. And then the last little comment he gave, yeah, you take care of that pussy ass nigga. And he wasn't saying it to call up. It was his boy he was talking to. He wasn't talking to a random black person or somebody in the street. It was just language he was using between him and his friends. And it got somebody, one of his neighbors was filming it, and they caught it on live. They caught him, you know, using the word. They caught him, you know what I mean, on video walking to the house. So his neighbor ain't on his team. So, his, you know, of course, his neighbor seen the bag. They sent it to TMZ. And it was on after that. You know what? I gotta do something here, man. I don't know how to do this. I gotta figure out how to wrench y'all up, man. Damn, I gotta figure out how to wrench y'all up. But yeah, so, you know, it wasn't, to me, I didn't think it was a big deal. Like, I didn't think that they needed to, like, kill the brother. Like, I mean, you know, of course he made a mistake. Of course he, you know what I'm saying, it wasn't cool what he did, right? But at the same time, like, Jesus Christ, man, like, that ain't, you can't kill the man. Like, they about to take his life, yo. Like, they about to ruin him. They about to cancel. They don't even play his music on the stations no more. And my thing is, this is one of those moments where somebody needs to step in and be honest about what happened, right? Like, not some black person, but some people with intelligence need to step in and be like, listen, we can't cancel the dude, right? Like, put it in context, folks. Contextually, it's the epitome of when keeping it real goes wrong. He thought by saying my N-word, take care of my N-word, he thought that it was private, it was intimate, it was amongst his friends. He never in a million years thought when he uttered that word that it would be the end of his career. Because that's what they're trying to do to him. And this is what I was saying yesterday about throwing people away. Right? And the man doesn't need to be thrown away. Right? Like, see, I never really paid attention to cancel culture, but now I understand what it is. And cancel culture is the inability of people that's trying to cancel you to articulate or contextualize your mistakes. Right? It's like they want to just broad stroke you, so they got to do no mental work. They don't have to do anything. It's just a lazy way of punishing people. Like, cancel culture is just saying, oh, you messed up, now we gotta throw you away, you're irredeemable. Peace, Corian, what's up, my brother? Salute to you, right? It's just throw them away, you're unredeemable. And most of the time, when people get thrown away in cancel culture, their action usually it doesn't warrant them being thrown away. It doesn't warrant them being put in a position where they lose their career, where they lose their ability to make money, just based on simple mistakes like that. Like, that was a mistake. And it wasn't necessarily a mistake of, he was drinking, so his judgment wasn't the same. His judgment was impaired, right? He probably had been out with his friends, right? So his actions necessarily wasn't, like, wrong outside of his space. Like, in his space, it was cool what he said and did because that's how him and his people get along. But outside of that, the world was like, oh my God, oh my God. And any intelligent person understands that him using that word is wrong because it is a word that we use for terms of endearment. But because of culture, hip hop culture, he's a musician. He's a country music star. You think he don't listen to hip hop? I guarantee you he got hip hop banging. That's where he got the word from. That's why he felt so comfortable using it, right? Because he feels some affinity to the culture. Yeah, that's true. That's true, Aries. That's true. That's definitely true. That's definitely true. Like, expand on that, Aries, if you can in the chat, so I can, you know what I mean, kind of dig more into it. Like, anybody got any thoughts on this? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that too. I think Donald Sterling. I think that thing with Donald Sterling. I think that he should have sold the team, right? But that situation was, we can't have you in control of black men. and you feel that way about him. That's what that was. Like, it is, they did canceling, but they canceled him because the relationship between him and his players would have been strained, and there would have been a strain on the organization and a strain on the NBA, because then they would have had to clean up the mess, because the Clippers was already a mess. And then when he did that, they were trying to turn themselves around, right? And he did make that comment in privacy. And see, the chick, whatever that it was, because I don't even think that was a woman. I think that was an it. That's why she wore that mask, so you wouldn't see her manly, masculine features and all that. I think that was a he, she. I don't think that was a woman. I think he was into some freaky nonsense. And the he, she just had his balls against the wall, right? So he was just put in a situation where the people he had around him meant him no good, right? So that with you know what I mean, just with his actions, he just was put in a situation where it was no win for him. Yeah, 90% of them, right? 90% of them, Aries, if not 95% of them. Like, I think Mark Cuban pretends to be like this social conscious, butterfly, but I think he harbors some animosity, because if you see how he anchored his team, he didn't anchor his team with, black players. His team is always anchored with a European. Dirk Nowitzki, right? And he don't even get an American European. He go across seas. Now he got Doncic. He got Porzingis from the Knicks, right? Like, he pulled in the best white players. He got Rick Carlisle, who, in my opinion, is probably a racist coach, because a lot of black players don't like playing for Rick Carlisle. You know what I mean? So I think he's a little, you know what I mean? I think Dwayne, I swear to God. Aries, what y'all think? Y'all don't think that was an it? It was something about that thing. Right. Did he get right? Did you think enough? Did he before the call, you know what I'm saying? But I think Mark Cuban is like, I think he harbors some feelings towards us. So they all carry that animus, right? But this dude just happened to get caught by, just like Donald Sterling, on the outside. You know what I'm saying? On the outside, like, he just chilling in his own little cul-de-sac. You know what I'm saying? And motherfucker just filming him late night. And they probably been waiting for that. He probably done said some things other nights, and they probably, oh, here he come. And they had their camera ready, like, here he come. You know what I'm saying? And that's terrible that people do that. And the stupid thing about whoever did that, right? He's gonna see it. And you can see that it was filmed from like a down angle. So he's gonna see it. Okay, Aries, that makes sense. So you're saying he watched Jerry Jones. So that's what you're saying, Aries? Okay, I get that. And you see how Jerry Jones get down, Aries. You see how his thing is. Look, you're going to toe the line. You're going to toe the line with my team. Like, you ain't going to kneel. And then he did the fake kneeling with him. So, yeah, I can see that. I can see him being a protege of Jerry Jones. Peace, Triple OG. Peace, my brother. Good morning to you, my brother. You're a little late for class, but when you the president of the class, I guess you get to do that. I guess you get to show up a little late. I guess so. Do we get a pass, Miss FedEx, for showing up late? Is he good? Is Triple OG good? You know what I'm saying? Because we need his wisdom in the class, so we can't send him to the disciplinarian. Triple OG, you got the tension next week, man. You got the tension, man. But yeah, y'all. So now the radio stations don't want to play his music. And with artists like that, that's where they get their money from. You know what I'm saying? They get their money from the royalties, from the, you know what I mean? Because he ain't playing those shows. Well, he might be, because, in those states, they don't even care about COVID. You know what I mean? They doing whatever with COVID. So, but the fact that now he's put in a position where they're going to cancel him, and I just wish they would be fair to the young man. Like, let it be a teaching moment, right? Like, this is that one time where this is definitely a teachable moment, right? And the teachable moment to him should be, when you get to the crib, don't start talking reckless till you get in the house. Your neighbors ain't shit. Move out of that neighborhood. Get away from them damn neighbors. Yeah, they wouldn't accept the blackface out front. Not at all. I think that's why Dak Prescott going through what he going through. Think about it. Like, they traded Emmitt Smith. Like, Emmitt Smith got y'all. It wasn't just Emmitt Smith that got y'all those Super Bowls. What's his name? Aikman. Emmitt Smith got y'all Super Bowl. So the way I seen him do some other players, because I hate that. I hate when great players get booted off great teams after they done gave him everything. That shit is the most plantationist example, because that's all professional sports is, folks. I'm sorry. Like, don't beat me up, don't shoot me, but the shit is just plantation. And I know RBR hate that I say this, but it literally is. It literally is the plantation. So, I don't know. I just think that the young man should be in a moment where somebody teaches him that, listen, you know, it's certain things, you can be whoever you are, but when you're a professional and you got all this to lose, you have to be triple mindful. Like, mindfulness is very important when you're a star, when you're somebody at that level, because you just got to be mindful of everything around you. Because somebody's always watching, somebody's always trying to get an edge, somebody's always trying to get something on you. Peace, Renaissance man. Peace, bruh. If it was that would want to be traded or be released, I wouldn't trust Jerry Jones after all the BS. Yeah, I'm with you on. That's what I'm saying. And like, that's the thing, right? And now what we're seeing is these white artists and these white people that's making these mistakes are getting thrown away, and you know, they don't have no cover. They don't have no Jerry Joneses or Mark Cubans that would go to bat for them, so they stuck out there. But back to what I was saying, as far as like, it's a plantation mentality with professional sports, right? And when we see incidents like when Riley Cooper did what he did, right? He didn't, you know, the owner of the Eagles gave him a contract when he did that shit. So this was prior to, you know, George Floyd and Donald Trump's presidency, where racism and racial animus was at the forefront. So we've had instances where white people have used the N-word and towards black people, right? And they wasn't canceled. So now, because the environment is as such, he's being canceled. But I just wish that there was more professional people, especially in the music industry, especially his fellow peers in the rap industry, that would come to his defense and say, listen, he wasn't saying it to be derogatory. And yes, we understand that that word should be forbidden by y'all and shouldn't be used by y'all, but we mean in the context of calling us that. Now, if y'all do that nonsense in the midst of y'all privacy and we don't see it, how can we hold y'all accountable for some shit we don't see? Right? But because we seen it, we say, okay, you ain't supposed to use that word. But damn, he put it in context. The young brother just was drunk and said some stupid shit. And I don't think that he should lose his career and his legacy should be tarnished. And I'm pro-black, y'all. I don't think that young man's life should be put in that situation where, you know, he's now going to have to do all those mea culpas and apologies and all that because of his personal, and I don't know him, I don't know, but you know, when white boys use that language, it's because they have some affinity for black culture. And like I said earlier, you know he got some hip hop in his joint. That's why he a musician. I guarantee you he got his courage to be who he is listening to rap artists, but he just took their energy and put it into his country music and made himself successful. That's why he felt so comfortable talking like that. Because even though he's a country artist, he's into all music. And if you see now, country music, I was watching the other day, and this country music, I was like, before, after long, this country music ain't gonna be Win Dixie, y'all. I mean, cause the song had like a little trap beat, and they tried to hide it. They tried their best to hide that trap beat in that country song. But it caught my ear, cause I'm turning, and I'm like, and the video was all, you know, it had a more urban feel to it. And then, you know, so you can see the transition, right? Like, maybe some people don't want it, but you can see the transition. And I also say that it's a young black lady. I don't know her name. It's a black country star. I don't really know her name. I probably should be more informed to know her name. And they asked her about it, and she was just like, you know, I don't think he should be canceled. He just shouldn't have said the word, and he got to take his lumps. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think he should be put in a position where he's gonna lose his career, man. Like that, and that's the thing with our society, man. We don't have enough people that will come to people's defense and be like, yo, is it, well, I don't know, they got a few of them, so I don't know what that young lady name is. I don't know her name. But I feel like there's not enough people in our society, Yeah, they tried. G. They tried to hide that trap beat in that song. And I mean, and the dude, he was fly. He had the haircut. Like, I was like, this ain't nothing but a rap video and honky tonk for him. I swear to God. It was nothing but something you would see on an urban video channel, just with country music mixed in with a hip hop, with a trap. I mean, it had a trap beat, y'all. It literally had a trap beat, but they just tried to hide it and put the country spin on it. And I wanted to watch it, but I didn't want to be like, man, I know I'm not watching country music, so I kind of turned that shit off. But I don't think the brother should lose his career, man. And I wish him all the success in the world. You know what I'm saying? And I hope that we start having more people who stand up in society and push back against the cancel culture when you can put the actions of the person in context. Right? Yeah, always. And then, you know, Elvis Presley, jazz music, we can go on and on, Renaissance, we can go on and on. I mean, it kills me when, you know, like Eminem is dope, Post Malone is dope, right? They're dope. But the whole thing that bothers me about all that is that we still don't get to be at the forefront of this. Like, we don't get to be like the sole controllers of this. Like, all of them can come in, and I mean, there's some, you know, true hip hop purists and be like, oh, it's all right that they consume it and they take it in. Yeah, it is all right that they consume it because it's made to be consumed by all. But I think that we're just losing the origins of it, right? And now when young rappers come up, they feel like they gotta be pop with it. They feel like they gotta be appeal to the masses in order for their shit to blow. So now we got, you know, black rappers acting like white, you know, being put more pop music out, and then you got white rappers coming in and being soulful like a Post Malone. So it's just peace, Antaeya Williams. Everybody say what's up to the executive producer, Antaeya Williams. But it seemed like, you know, it's just a reverse psychology, man. Like, this shit is crazy. You got black women putting on skin whitener. You got white women getting big butts and fat lips. Like that Botox commercial and shit. They got one sister, but I bet you she don't got the Botox. They just showing what the lips should look like. And then they got the 4 white women that's modeling throughout the commercial for the Botox. So this reverse psychology shit is really killing me. And he's paying the price because, and see, this is the thing that white people, and this is what I be saying, right? And I said it the other day on the show. Everybody want our culture, but don't nobody want to be us. Like, he getting a blackety black moment right now. And I know he probably in the shower trying to scrub his skin. He probably praying like went to a Southern Baptist church and like, help me never say the N-word again. Like, he probably will never say that word again. Like, he probably get shook if he think about saying the N-word. He probably gonna go to a person that what's those people called that he gonna go to a hypnotist, right? And they gonna have the hypnosis person going to make sure he don't say the N-word no more. Yo, hypnotize me, man, so I can get that N-word out of me, so I can save my career. Because his blackly black moment just killed him. Just took him out. But hopefully that brother, you know what I mean, somebody will come to his rescue. You know what I'm saying? Right, everybody want to be black till the cops come, right? Y'all seen the dude, one of the people that was on a no-fly list when the Capitol insurrection happened, and he on the floor squirming, talking about, you're treating me like a black person. You're treating me like a black person. Like, just like, wow, like, because you got arrested, you're getting treated like a black person. So that lets you know that when they know what it is for us, right? Like, they readily know what it is for us. And that's what I mean by context, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Just shit is just out of whack, man. Shit is just all over the place. And to kind of continue on that, we're gonna switch to the lady, Marjorie Greene Taylor. Everybody know her. She's the infamous, newly elected QAnon congressman from Northwest Georgia. And this lady is batshit crazy. She went on there yesterday. She went on the Congress floor yesterday and tried to, I didn't know. I was fooled by the algorithm. Yo, she went and blamed the algorithm. Think about that shit, y'all. She blamed the algorithm for being a QAnon conspirator. Or as my man Psycho would say, conspiratard, right? Where's Psycho at anyway? Psycho, you in the building, you in the air. Drop on down, bro, if you don't mind, right? This bird brain gonna go on the floor of Congress yesterday because, well, let me put some context to the story. Yesterday, Congress voted to strip her of all her Republican posts. She's a new member. She's just coming in. So, when you're just coming in, you're a freshman congressman, it's important to find your place, to find a group. So, you try to join committees that's true to who you are and why you got elected to Congress. Now, I'm not sure what post she belonged to, but they stripped them of it. They voted. It was 11 Republicans that joined the Democrats to pass the motion 230 to 199, right? Now, she's known for passing these baseless theories and shit like that. But the reason why they wanted to get rid of her, it wasn't because of her QAnon. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't because of her QAnon theories. It was more because of her, like, very threatening and very just terroristic philosophy and terroristic ideas that she's put out on social media pertaining to the squad, which is Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, AOC, right? So she has this, like, she came to Congress to be the white, difference to them, right? Like if you, like to keep it 100 with y'all, right? If y'all was paying attention, right? I'm gonna get back into her. If y'all was paying attention, right? In the last election cycle, I'm gonna say 2013, 2018, and please, people, if y'all can real quick, get the likes and the shares up, please, so more people know that my show is on, because I'm new, so they don't really send out a lot of notifications, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just trying to get in the algorithm so more people can come and we can have a greater conversation and we get more like minds over here. So if you can, please do that, boy. Your favor is free. Just hit the like and the share button. If you can, tell a friend to tell a friend that I'm rocking right now. But so, to go back, like in 2018, the 2018 midterm elections, right? Now, you had a lot of successes with the Democratic Party, right? Overall, they did good in Virginia, they did good in some southern states, and they did good in the Midwest. But you had some new, what you would call moderate, but I'm gonna call them really, they was really blue dog, conservative, Democratic women, but they came in as Democrats, as moderate Democrats. And they had, few of them had, I don't know their names offhand, but a few of them had backgrounds in like FBI, CIA. So they had a lot of in intelligent government backgrounds, right? So they came in, but they came in as a counterbalance to the squad. Because, the squad is the progressive wing of the Democratic Party, and the squad is labeled throughout the nation as these socialists or these people that's going to overturn whiteness. Because the reason why the squad is in public enemy number one, because they're non-apologetic minority women who speak their mind and push back against white supremacy. That's why they're called the squad, right? So they can be labeled so the world can see them. They gave them a ready label, stamped it on their head, the squad. So whenever you think of the squad, you think of those three women, right? Okay, as the House Budget Committee. Okay, thanks, Renaissance. I appreciate that. So when you think of the squad, you think socialist. You think taking white money and white wealth and white treasure and giving it to minorities, giving it to Somalian immigrants, giving it to Lebanese immigrants. I think Omar, I think Rashida Tlaib is Lebanese. She's from the Middle East. I'm not sure if it's Lebanese or Palestinian, but I know she's from that part of the Middle East, right? And then you have Andrea Ocasio-Cortez, who's, Latin, right? She's from the Latin community, but they associate her with, Central and South American immigrants, right? So they're looking at her as, yeah, she got here, her parents probably immigrants, she probably an anchor baby, blah, 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 right? Don't know what I'm saying, she Puerto Rican, all this and that, right? So you had, in 2018, you had like 4 or 5 white women, or 3 white women that was elected, right? But they were moderates in how they presented themselves, but they're really conservatives, but they're not, they couldn't buy into the racism that Donald Trump presented with the Republican Party. So they knew, okay, I still want to run for office, so I'll be what is considered a moderate Democrat. I'll say I'm a moderate Democrat, but I'm really conservative and I really want to be a Republican. But I need to be in this space to push back against the squad, because the squad is going to take white wealth and white treasure and spread it, and give it to other people, because that's what the whole thing is about, right? Stopping the progressives from giving things to other people. Trickle down doesn't necessarily work, so the progressives are going to be the ones to hand it off. Right? So Marjorie Greene, she was bold enough to say, well, I'm not going to front and be no Democrat because I'm racist, right? Because she's made some very inflammatory statements throughout the years, because that's really why she got kicked out. She didn't get kicked out because she's a conspirator. She got kicked out because she says crazy things. Let me tell you some of the things she's done. Okay. She once liked a Facebook post calling for Miss Pelosi to get a bullet to the head and replied to another calling for Barack Obama to be hanged. Stage is being set. So think about that. Now, this is a woman. Now, I thought that it was against the crime to say anything against the sitting president, right? Now, somebody said that if you like a post where calling for Barack Obama to be hanged and then you say the stage is being set, this is why they got her out of it. Because they didn't do they can't vet her because there's nothing they can do to stop her from being elected. But once she got there, they're trying to strip her from having power and ability to take her white supremacy ideas and take her QAnon and QTARD shit and meld it into our public body politic, right? So, and then another thing, she was, you remember the Parkland school shooting? She called the teenager that survived, she called him a coward. How is he a coward for surviving? So these are some of the inflammatory statements that she made that got her put out, right? She said the 2018 midterm elections ushered in an Islamic invasion of our government. Now, I don't even know how she coming with that, right? So this is where she come from. But these things, excuse me, these things are all steeped in racism. From her first comment to her last comment, steeped in racism. So now they acted like they got rid of Steve King. If anybody remember, I'm gonna kind of do a little backtrack. If anybody remember Steve King, she was, that's the Parkland guy calling him a coward and menacing him. Yeah. If anybody remember Steve King, with Steve King, he's an Iowa congressman that they censored and took his committee. This is the second time this happened in a few years with a member of Congress, a Republican member of Congress, right? They took his committee seats because he made a statement about, show me where these people contributed to Western civilization. Like, he was saying that Western civilization is preeminent. He not only said it on MSNBC, he said it a few times, right? That wasn't his first foray into praising white Western civilization. Because to him, we should be thankful. His term was basically non-whites or non-Western civilization minorities should be happy that we set up this empire for them to benefit from. Like, that was the gist of what he was saying. That they should be happy for Western civilization, right? Now, they didn't butt him for that. Like, they was like, he did it on Chris Matthews' show, right? It was the midterm elections, so they're at somebody's college or whatever, and he said this, like show me. He was questioning his other members on the panel, like, show me where other races contribute to the greatness of Western civilization. Like, he was absolute about that. So neither one of them had the finesse because they're both from, rural. She's from northwest rural Georgia. He's from central rural Iowa. So they don't have the finesse, right? So they're clumsy. So they go into Washington and they're not distinguished in their actions. So they're clumsy and not understanding that their clumsiness is going to have them on the back burner. But they don't care that they're clumsy with their racism because it had been so accepted. And Trump was so clumsy with his. So they thought, follow the leader. Follow the leader, right? So now that he's gone, she has no cover. So she's, so she pitched the wrong pitch. So yesterday she went and tried to apologize and make these excuses. Like, if you watch it, it's just sickening because she never said she apologized. She never apologized. She just made excuses to why she was, misinformed. She was misinformed, right? Yeah, like black people, Renaissance, like he was really absolute that blacks and Chinese and other ethnic groups and other racial groups had nothing to do with this empire becoming great. Like CRISPR addicts didn't exist. You know what I'm saying? The Chinese who built the railroad didn't exist. The code breakers didn't exist. Like, all these other ethnic groups that helped this empire become what it was didn't exist. Like, all those millions of black slaves that was either lost in the transatlantic slave trade or, made it to the American land, American shores. None of those people contributed. None of those black men and women who helped build the White House and the Capitol after the British stormed it and tore it asunder in the War of 1812. Right? Hidden Figures, the three black women that helped them get to the moon and helped launch space travel to where it is now, to where Elon Musk and all these European white men of British and Australian and New Zealand bloodline, which is just a continuation of America, just the franchise of the triple A's, because Britain is the major, right? They're the major, right? And then they're like the first franchise, right? They like how the NFL go, like got the old NFL, and then they merged with the AFL and they made the NFL, right? So Britain is like the original franchise, right? They the Houston Texans, the original Houston Texans, right? And then America is the Dallas Cowboys that changed their name, right? And Australia and New Zealand, they're the foreign teams. Australia is the triple A and New Zealand is double A. And they still work together. They still work together to formulate that Anglo-Saxon, and that the sun never set on the British Empire, right? They still rocking that. So when they make these statements about Western civilization and what it is, or we get a Marjorie Taylor Greene, like all these people are just trying to demean diversity, demean the inclusion of people, you know what I mean, that don't look like them into what made this empire what it is. So when they see the squad and things of that nature, their intentions is to mute those people. Their intentions is to stand up for whiteness, but they come in these packages of moderate Democrats or QAnon conspiracy theories and shit like that. They try to hide their racial animus behind other theories and other pseudo ideas. See, Steve King's foray into Western civilization, that was just him crying out. That was just him saying, I don't see all this diversity. I don't see all this. I don't see all you other people contributing. He see it. And that's why he's saying what he's saying, because he sees it. And that's why I'm always trying to put across the idea that their intentions are not to be just and equal or give us policies that will benefit us. Their intentions is to hold whiteness at the gate. Just like we see black gatekeepers in these spaces, there are white gatekeepers. And these white gatekeepers are saying, who let all these minorities in? Why do Ilhan Omar, an immigrant, why does she feel comfortable with challenging whiteness? Who gave her the ability to feel confident about she comes from somewhere else. How's she going to come here and tell us how to do what we do? How dare her? See, they don't feel as though we're their equal to question them or hold them accountable for their actions. Marjorie Greene was standing on that Congress. She didn't know what to say or what to do. She's never been held accountable for her whiteness. Never. None of them have. And now they're being held accountable. They don't know what to do. They don't even have the language to speak. Like, that's why that young man, he's making an apology. Make an apology, young man, but also say, come on, folks, y'all understood the context of what I was saying, but since he's never been held accountable, he doesn't even have the language. Like, if we go back to the Hidden Figures, a lot of black people, we didn't even know that shit existed. We didn't even know that those three women that did that, or all the women that contributed to that. We don't even know. We didn't even know. I had no fucking idea about Hidden Figures. And I remember Tariq Nasheed was like, well, Hidden Figures, they took it from my shit Hidden Colors. You know they stole that from me. Well, bro, it's kind of appropriate to call it Hidden Figures because that shit been hidden in the histories and the annals of history for a very long time. Because prior to that movie coming out, I guarantee you, if you lined up 10 black people, 9 of them motherfuckers, 7, 8, none of them, maybe 2 of them could tell you they knew about that shit. If that. So like now it's a reckoning of whiteness, right? So now they're their privilege and their lack of being held accountable for so long is now coming to a head. Facts, Triple OG, 9.9 couldn't tell me. Right? That lady just died, right? And think about this. Nobody knew, because if anybody knew, somebody would have gave her a Medal of Honor a long time ago. But it took for a black president, because I guarantee you, his ass didn't even know. And that movie was great. And it was kind of sad, because it was like, if black people knew that these women contributed like this, I think we would have had a lot more mathematicians. I think we'd have had a lot more engineers. I think a lot more black people would have been into science and space exploration. Now, I know a couple black people that I know some people who are in the aeronautic field, right? But their parents really was like, no nonsense. I remember my uncle, I'm talking about his niece, my Uncle Red, he used to drive his niece to Penn State. Like, damn, Neff, like, I need some, such and such for this road trip, man. Like, the family coalesced. Like, she never had to worry about how she was going to get there, or who was going to pay the tuition. Whatever they had to do to finesse to make sure that she became a rocket scientist, they did. See, like, now we're seeing other people's actions be put on the forefront, but our greatness is still being hidden. And we still gotta watch all these lazy responses and lazy reactions to continuous racism that's always been there, that's always manifested itself. So removing her from committees is one thing, but are you removing her from Congress? Like, if anybody need to be canceled, she need to be canceled or removed or put in TV timeout for a while. Because we know what she's there for. She's not there to create laws and bills to benefit us all. She's there to be the counterbalance to the AOC and the squad. Like, I'm not an AOC fan. And I think, and I'm about to say some controversial shit right now. Real talk. Yeah, she should be in jail for the threats, for her actions, but she got money. She inherited a construction company. So she got money. She just doesn't have class. See, and that's what you find with a lot of them now. They don't got class. They how they used to say on Fat Albert, you know what, Rudy? You like school on Saturday. What's that? No class. They don't have any class. Right? But the controversial thing I'm about to say is, me personally, and this is me, and I could be wrong, because I've been known to be wrong before. But I feel like Ilhan Omar is like a Trojan horse, man. I don't think her intentions are good. When I see her, I get this vibe that ain't cool. See, I think these are the kind of people that want to stunt, right, the growth of white corporations. Like AOC stopped Amazon from building their hub in Queens. Like, I lived in that part of Queens. I lived over there on 33rd and Steinway, right outside of Long Island City. I lived in Astoria, but like Long Island City is right down the street. Once you turn out on Steinway, it's right down the street. Right? And it's the old Atlantic Yard, train tracks, old subways. It would have been perfect. All those young black men and women in Queens, they would have loved those jobs at Amazon. But she stopped it because they want minority businesses to blow up and become the anchors of these communities. But what they got to understand is that hasn't happened yet. That hasn't happened yet. Right? So when I see them, I don't see them necessarily as people who trying to, do right by black folks, right? Like, do right by African Americans. I think they're looking out for their own group and their own tribe, right? And I think they're ushering in to bring their tribe in. And I know that's controversial as fuck, but it's how I feel. And I'm glad Ayanna Pressley stepped away from him and made sure and distinguished herself from them, because they tried to put the sister Ayanna Pressley with him. They tried to, because Ayanna Pressley got that same, same vigor in her. But she slowly showed him, like, I don't got nothing to do with that. She had no problem with articulating, that's not where I'm at. Yeah, Triple OG, I don't know, everybody say she's sexy. I don't really see all the cute, sexy shit. I don't know the shit. I think that she's now, you know how they talk about ambition, right? You know how they come at when like the governor of West Virginia the other day, he had said, Triple OG, he was like he was talking about Kamala Harris because she had came down to talk about, negotiating for the next COVID bill. And he had made this statement on CNN to, Chris Cuomo about, well, yeah, I understand people's ambitions, but they got to put their ambitions to the side. So what he was basically saying is, I know she want to be president, but she ain't got to come down there and smooth me. She ain't got to show me her power. Yes, she do, white man. But she's doing it in an amicable way. She's doing it to say, hey, listen, I do have ambitions, but my job right now is to make sure I negotiate the best deal for the American citizens. But he was intimidated by her meteoric rise because, he's looking at this woman of color be the vice president of the United States. And I'm sure Joe Manchin wanted that. I know for a fact, if there was some Democrat running that needed a moderate or a conservative Democrat to help win the Republican vote, they would choose Joe Manchin. But that horse, that buggy has sailed. So, that boat has sailed. So he'll never get that. He'll never get that. Right? So now you're in a situation where they're being held accountable. They want to compromise shit. And they here to say the squad will not give our white shit to other people. But they're not class. They're not distinguished. So you're only giving the squad more ammunition. You're only making them look better than what they already do. And now you have no committees. Now you have no way to be a part. You might as well just resign, because what power do you have? What influence will you have? None. None. No influence whatsoever. None. So, something else I wanted to talk about, folks. That's kind of important to me, and I just been thinking about it lately. Like, when we're in these spaces, right, you rarely hear, like, very intellectually sound conversations. Now, a couple hours ago, I was listening, to another podcast, to another YouTube content creator. And he was having a good show. And the context of the conversation was about, do black women or do women like smart men? Now, I don't want to get into the topic because that'll be a topic for another day, right? But nobody's going to block you, Mo. I don't even know who blocked you the first time. Nobody's going to block you, bro. You good. I ain't giving you no wrench to be safe, but you good. Like, don't block Mo, folks. I don't know who blocked you the first time, Mo. My bad. And the gist of the conversation, it got around to, like, when you're smart or when you're intelligent, when you're young and you're intelligent, right? But you're in a community that doesn't necessarily, or you're around people and friends that doesn't necessarily deal with, or what I'm gonna say, that's not the norm. Like talking about school and college. And Joe Dub, peace, big bro. How you doing this morning? Good morning to you, my brother. Thanks for joining. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, Mo, I don't know who blocked you, Mo. I'll dig and see what's up, and I'll unblock you if it's just regular Mo Reese Delp. I'll make sure I do that today, big bro. You got my word on that. I got you. But yes, son. Yes, baby. Daddy doing a podcast, baby. What's up? What's up? Somebody's at the door. All right. Well, tell your sisters to answer the door. They right there, big dog. I'm sorry, folks. So the conversation was about when you're growing up and how you influence, right? When you have Jaden, yes. Jaden, close the door, Jay. Thank you. I'm sorry, folks. But the conversation was about intelligence, right? And they started talking, and they was trying to get around to what came about was, in our community, being intelligent is always frowned upon, right? It's always looked at as a negative. People call you white. You know what I'm saying? People call you all kind of things and say you talking white, doing this and that. And when you're hearing that from your peers, it's a negative, right? It's for those of us who wasn't anchored in or didn't have enough self-confidence to understand that I don't care what they saying. I'm going to embrace my intelligence. I'm going to embrace my love for knowledge and information, right? Like, I was one of those ones who fell victim to that, right? Like, bad as I wanted to go to college and bad as I wanted to be a nerd, I just was overwhelmed by the influence of the people around me, right? And I didn't go home to a place, not to say that my mom wasn't learned or smart, because my mom was smart, right? But as I was listening to that, I just, and one of the brothers on the panel said the same thing. He said he wished that he never succumbed to the influence of his peers, because for me, it handicapped my fate, it handicapped my situation. But for him, he felt like he never lived up to his potential. And I feel the same way. And it's like, how do we in the black community, how do we address that, right? Like, how do we seriously address our inability?
Daddy.
Yes, baby. Hold on, folks. Yes, baby. Yeah. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. What I was saying was, I'm trying to, like, let me back up a little bit because there wasn't no sound. So basically what I was saying was, as I was listening to the show, right, it was just dawning on me that a lot of the rhetoric that was going on was basically like, being smart is not a good attribute to have in a community unless you can bang a hammer or you a soldier. It's like you gotta be an alpha male, but you can't be smart. Right? Like if you're a nerd, like, you can get women and you can do these things, but a woman is not gonna be attracted to, because she's attracted to an alpha male. And I'm saying to myself, like, alpha males can be smart. Alpha males can be nerds. Like, it's not, and so it's like we associate intelligence and smart in our community. It's like it's a set aside. Like, if you smart, we sit you over here and we align you with all the things that go over there, right? Not taking it like, and people was like limiting intelligence to like these one things, and not understand that intelligence is a broad spectrum, But the point that I'm trying to make is like, why in our community is like being intelligent such a bad thing? Like why did I feel more like why did I feel ashamed for being smart? Like why do because I have this conversation with Antea all the time. Like when we talk, I don't see myself as being smart, right? But I see myself as being a thug and tough. And because I can actuate those things. I actuated those things, right? I demonstrated those things. But when I demonstrate my smartness, I'm usually either scoring for it or I'm seen as different. I'll be in a car with a woman, that I'm trying to date or something, and they'll be like, "Oh, you got a big head, you got a big brain," right? And they love it, but I'm not the choice, right? They love it, but I'm not the choice, right? Because it's like I'm almost too smart for them. It's like they want to keep the advantage. Like I don't want somebody that can call me out on my shit. I had a young lady when I was hustling, y'all. This is a true story. Young girl, she wasn't, sexy, worked in a beauty salon, you know what I'm saying? I mean, when I seen her, I was like, oh my God, right? But she had a struggle life. And at that time, I was on top. I had my own crib. I had a dope crib. I just bought a house, jacuzzi in the bathroom. Oh, my crib was dope, right? And she had a rough life. She had a kid, you know what I'm saying? Baby daddy wasn't really messing around. And I kind of felt bad for I'm like a Captain Saberhole type nigga. Niggas on the other side would call me a simp. But I ain't really no simp because I also have broads, right? Like also, have been known to be with multiple women at one time, right? Throughout my life. Never, till now, till the situation I'm with now, right? So, but it's just something inside of me that just feels compassion for other people, especially when I can help them. Yeah, that and for me, that's what I was getting to, Renaissance. That's what I was getting to. And you kind of lead me into that. But me and her, and I liked her, right? And I just couldn't understand. Like, she would come over and spend the night and things of that nature. We would, things would be cool. And I go pick her up when I pick her up from the salon and shit, she was younger. So the older women, they're like, damn, how the fuck she get here? Like, cause I come in there, at that time getting bread. So I'm, pele leather, I'm like, they know what it is, right? And I just couldn't understand. Like, it was like, I would always have to be like, yo, what's up? Where you at? Right? So after a while, I just left her alone. Like, man, I'm not chasing after that bird no more, man. Hell with that shit. Like, I got mad shit going on. New York girl, everything going on. I'm good. But I liked her, right? Because when you connect with somebody, you can talk to them and, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I tell a motherfucker quick, I ain't got no game. Women understand my story. I'm like Nas. I'm not shooting no game. I don't have no fucking game. What the fuck is that? A game. That shit gonna be over eventually, right? Your story can continue. You can continue writing your story. Game gonna be over. You gotta keep renewing that shit. You gotta keep showing up to these spaces to get game. These niggas tell you how to make the cake this week, and they gonna keep telling you how to make the cake, but they ain't gonna never tell you how to put the shit in the oven. But you gotta keep showing up to get the next game, right? I don't got game. So, long story short, in the game, when you hustling, sometimes shit go bad. And shit went bad. The boys came. They came hard and heavy, right? And the ones that I had in my corner that was there for the bread, they was like, oh, I ain't got nothing for you. When I got out, when I came home, they was like, the empire's over. I don't got nothing for you. But the young lady came and checked on me. It was like, what's up, babe? Like, my friend told me, oh my God, you okay? Blah, 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 blah. Right? She had started a new relationship, you know what I mean? Right? She was like, my boyfriend, dropped me off and shit. I told him what's going, right? But the point I'm trying to make to y'all is, right? When I went to go get sentenced and everything for what I did, y'all know who was in that courtroom with me? That young lady. And I was like, yo, how your boyfriend accept this? And like, what was the difference? Why would you not be with me and be with him? She was like, Buck, because the shit I do to him, I could never do to you. You too smart for that shit. She was like, I would never want to do the shit I do. Like, think about this. Would you want me in a courtroom with another man and taking care of all his personal business after he's about to be sentenced for a crime? Would you drive me to the courthouse to do that? Hell no. And the thing was, I wanted to tell her, it's like, You need to be with a smart man. You don't need to be with no nigga that's gonna let you do that. You ain't gonna never grow. That's why you stuck where you at. Why you think the universe put us together? Because he wanted me to show you how to do the shit another way. And what I've always learned is in all my relationships, right? My intelligence may have turned them on, but eventually it turned them off. And I don't know what that's about. And it just seems like in our community, intelligence is a negative. I love Renaissance man because he's intelligent. You know what? I love smart women. Smart women turn me on. The woman I love the most is smart. She's pretty, but she ain't got the body and the titties and all. Because I remember the first time she came to my house, the one across the street, when she left was like, well, I don't like her. She ain't got no body, right? But I love her because she's smart and she ain't like you. See, you just want me for my money. You want me for my smarts, right? But you just use me for that and then you go do some other shit with the other people. Like, you'll never take me serious and be my mate. You'll just, you'll take my smarts when you need it, but you need them dumb niggas you can control. And I just don't, and to me, it's becoming bothersome that we're still at this place where being smart in the black community is still a problem. It's still a problem. Like think about that. Think about that. Think about how a woman was able to tell me just candidly, like, I could never do to you what I'm doing to him because you're too smart. And I wouldn't want to do that to somebody like you. Well, why would you want to do that to him? Because he's not smart? So because you're smarter than him, you're going to take advantage of him? So do they think because I'm smarter than them, I'm going to take advantage of them? And the thing is, intelligence and smarts is a gauge. It's you know what I mean? It swings back and forth because I may be dumb as hell in this and you may be a genius in it. So am I smarter than you? Now, I may have some intellectual ideas and properties that you don't have, but am I smarter than you? And so I guess because my mom was really smart. Like my uncles and aunts tell me that she was really, my uncle, your mom was smart as hell. But my mom never told me she was smart. Like, she never thought like, she knew she was smart, but she even limited herself where she could have been a RN or something. She just was an LPN, so she stopped it right there. You know why? Because nobody told her, Gloria, you could go further. Because what I realized is that my aunts and uncles wasn't as smart as my mom, and that was the beef. And as I grew up and I seen how she handled things and how she did things in comparison to how they did things, I was like, oh. And see, the one she was cool with was the other smart one. See, she was 4 girls, 4 boys, right? So her and the really smart boy, they was like this. And I hung around this, like, me doing all this is because of him. Like, me knowing how to set computers up and all it, it's because of him. He taught me that. He started me off with my Victor collection and everything. And I remember one day, y'all, this pained me. My Aunt Linda was in the crib, and his son, my uncle, God rest his soul, his son is a PhD with federal, Food and Drug Administration, right? And my aunt had said to him, "Oh, I know you proud of him, cause he graduated." And I felt terrible because it was almost like she looked at me as a failure, as a loser, because I cut grass. She know what my life is at the present moment, but it never dawned on her that I graduated from NYU. It never dawned on her. because I'm in her close proximity. So my successes don't compare to my cousin's successes because he works for the FDA, and me being an entrepreneur and coming from being a convicted felon and losing jobs because of that, but saying I'm gonna create something of my own, right? I'm gonna take whatever hustle, whatever will I got left, and I'm gonna build my own shit. Because if people rejected me and they closing doors because I made a mistake and they just want to throw me away, I gotta dig myself out of the trash. And my aunt literally was standing there telling me, you're irrelevant. You cut grass. You're like, you even if you did graduate from college, you ain't no PhD. You won't work with the FDA. So whatever. Love you, nephew. But, and I guarantee you she never said to my mom, you proud of him, ain't you? See, my aunt seen me as a gangster because I remember one time she was like, gangster ass nigga. She didn't think the gangster ass nigga also graduated from NYU. See, the thing that fucked me up with my family is they always was mad at me because I wasn't what they thought I was going to be, but they never told me what they wanted me to be. I was supposed to know through osmosis that these people had high hopes for me. And I say this to say, if you see a relative, a cousin, a friend, and they smart, encourage them. Encourage them. Let them know they smart. Let them know they intelligent. Let them know that being intelligent and reaching for the stars is the best thing possible. Because we can no longer operate as a culture, as a race, as a people where intelligence is seen as a negative. If we want to combat drugs, crime, pregnancy, all that, and the thing is, smart women get pregnant too, right? There ain't no smart kids have babies too. But we got to get to the point where we promote intelligence just like we promote the fuckery. So you can't go to none of these channels where they always screaming about the fuckery and be a person who can contextualize the fuckery and also accept that intelligence and genius and the things that they talk about and the morals and the things that they talk about do need to be infused into our community. But if we're so reticent to talk about how women don't like smart men don't like smart women. I love intelligent women. That shit is attractive as hell, dog. That shit is better than any fat ass, any titties, right? And if you smart and intelligent with all that, nigga, I feel like I hit the lotto, the mega millions. Cause see, things like that are priceless. When you can take journeys, mental journeys with people, and y'all can make love through words and language, that shit is better than money. Because you can use that shit. You can use that information. You can use that inspiration to better yourself internally. Things that money can't do. You can't put money in use and cleanse trauma and cleanse demons and shit. But being around intelligent people who open you up to new ideas and new philosophies allow you to cleanse yourself of some of the things that may have held you back. I love talking to intelligent women. See, I'm not a looks person. If you a 5 and you smart and you genius and you got a good heart, I'm fucking with you. If you a 10, I know a dime who's smart and all that, but she'll eat your food. I don't want that. But intelligence is sexy. Like, you know, I get so Like, y'all ever watch how like Apple and all these big tech companies, y'all ever watch how they headquarters be, like YouTube headquarters and Google headquarters and Apple headquarters, and how it's all set up to cater to the employees and cater to their genius and they just set it up where the environment is so inclusive and it's learning, and it allows you to breathe, and your energy and your intelligence just to all immerse, and they be successful, right? And they're $1 trillion companies, and we're using their platforms, you know what I'm saying? And they bring all the best and brightest. You know who's at the deficit of those companies? Black people. And it's not just racism that keep them out. It's we that keep us out. Our language that we use, our descriptors that we use, our fear. And we waste a lot of time being around people hoping that it's almost like if we go back to the Zoe and like Zoe is really smart, right? And Corey is intimidated by that. And he called him the weakest link because he was talking to himself. When people say shit like that, they're talking to themselves. So if a motherfucker say some vicious, vile shit to you, 9 times out of 10, they're talking to themselves. And you just happen to be the mirror, right, that they're going to bounce this sound off of. And unfortunately, a lot of times when we're in dynamics like that, we're not thinking that we're the mirror. We're actually thinking we're the intended target, so it hurts us.
Daddy?
Yes, Jaden?
When was Kamala Harris born?
Excuse me?
When was Kamala Harris born?
I can't hear you. What you said?
When was Kamala Harris born?
When was Kamala Harris born? There's a thing called Google, right? And you got 2 sisters down there, one in college, one a senior in high school. Don't you think you can ask them?
Denise doesn't know.
Jaden, they're both on computers. Denise is in class on a computer. All you have to do is say, Denise, can you Google when Kamala Harris was born for me, please? Thank you. I'm sorry, folks. My bad. Yeah, a lot of us were scared. Because I was scared. Like, that's what I'm getting to. Self-sabotage. Right? Like, I shouldn't be cutting grass. But I was afraid to do something else. Your great uncle Triple OG said it's October 20th, 1964. So it's 2 days after mommy's and 1 month before daddy's. So she 2 days after mommy. So mommy 10/18, she 10/20/64, okay? He said, thank you, Triple OG. Thank you, Triple OG. Appreciate that. He's the president of her fan club. But I found myself dumbing myself down, associating myself in environments because I was afraid to be intelligent. I was afraid to be smart. And to this day, I'm afraid to be intelligent. And I'm afraid to be smart. Because I feel like the expectations... Yeah, I'm trying to do that now, Renaissance. I'm trying to convert it to a construction company now. I'm working on like getting my contractor license. I've been talking to my people. But I kind of want to be a college professor, y'all. Like my ultimate dream is to be a college professor. Like that's my ultimate dream, and to one day start a black college in New Jersey, like past the Mason-Dixon line. But me not having the family, the backings, and just not knowing that anything is possible, right? Not shooting for the stars, right? Just dumbing myself down, being around people who, and it's crazy because they quietly want me to be successful and be away from them, but they just didn't have the language to tell me. You know how hoods will protect great athletes, right? And be like, man, you don't need to be out here. You don't need to be this, that, and the third. You know when I got that? When I went to jail the last time, right? And I'm locked up. They raid my crib December 23rd, so I'm locked up on Christmas. So I come in the joint, you know what I'm saying? And I see a capo from a gang capo, you know what I mean? We used to run together out South Trenton back in the day. And he was like, oh, man, Uncle Buck, man, what you doing here, man? And, you know, we chop it up and I tell him what's going on. And this is all he said to me. He's like, man, everything ain't for everybody. And this shit ain't for you. He was like, and I would have never thought in a million years, all the years I've been in and out of prison, I would have never thought in a million years that I would run into you behind these bars. Like, and I'm telling y'all, like, we got young boys following him. They following him like they his master. Like he they master. And he straight up was like, come on, Uncle Buck, man, let's go over here and talk, man. He's like, man, fuck that shit, man. This shit ain't you, man. Like it took me to be locked up in a kennel environment and to hear somebody who want to see a person like me make it because they done just gave up. And somebody killed my man too. That's crazy. Somebody killed knowledge like that. That shit blew my mind. Broad daylight. But he didn't mean the world no good. But he meant me good that day. And see, that's why I always tell people when they be on here talking crazy and all that shit. Like, man, I've been around real killers, man. You niggas on here ain't killing nothing, man. Y'all killing the goddamn vibe, if anything. And it was just a wake-up call to hear somebody and listen, y'all, I haven't done any transgressions since December I'm gonna say April of 2008 because I had to get that bail money back. I had to get that shit back. Just can't take an L like that. But after that, I went and bought a lawnmower, a weed whacker, and a hand blower, and it's been on ever since. I got 2 trucks, 2 trailers, 4 lawnmowers, 3 snow blowers. I got a plow driver. He got his own truck. And I started off with an Astro van, a weed whacker, and a lawnmower. And then the Astro van broke down when I was trying to move my stuff from where I was at the halfway house up North Jersey back to Trenton. So then I had to go and walk and do the jobs. And then I went and bought me a white van. So I went from the Astro to white. So I got 2 brand new pickup trucks out there and equipment. But this ain't what I want to do. I want to tell young people that being smart and intelligent is the bomb. I want to tell young black people that want to start a startup to pay attention to everything that Google and all these big companies out there in Silicon Valley do and watch how they set up their environment, because that's about intelligence. That's about learning how to put human capital in a position to benefit you. Black people, we need a renaissance in our community. We need a renaissance bad. We need to understand that literature, art, science, and all that shit will save our lives. I got a Toro Z5. I got a Toro Z54D, 60 inch. I got a Toro 50 inch, Z5 5420. I got a Walker 48 inch, heavy back, and I got a White Owl, which is a subsidiary of Exmark. I got a White Owl, which is a subsidiary of Exmark. It's 50 inch. That's what I learned doing. That's what I taught myself how to use a zero turn on my. That's my baby. That put me in the game. Her name's Sugar. That's Sugar. I go and hug Sugar in the summertime. I go sit on Sugar and I come up with dreams. Because Sugar, she out of commission. I don't really put Sugar out there no more because it's rough out there and I want Sugar to be good. But yeah, that's the equipment I got, man. And I went from a $29 weed whacker. My lawnmower, I tore the lawnmowers up so much to do that. Sears got tired of my ass. Like, man, just go get a professional lawnmower. I said, ain't no such thing as a goddamn professional push mower. Shit, ain't no such thing. And then I come to find out later in the game that there is, but I ain't giving nobody no goddamn $1,000 for no damn 22 inch push mower. So I got a Toro 29 inch. It's still $1,000, but it's 30 inches, so it cuts more than 22. So, and now, y'all, I'm trying to make the transition to like creating an environment that's professional, and I don't know if I have it. I don't know if I'm wishful thinking. I don't know. But I just know when I see those white companies, I just get inspired. I get inspired. Like when I watch the YouTube channels where they do the setup wars, where you see all the white guys with the beautiful computer setup. Like I love that shit, man. And they take pride in that shit. And ain't nobody telling them they are lame and they a sucker and all that shit. Like they love that shit, man. And why all the white people get to have all the fun? Because I told a motherfucker, in my next life, I'm going to be at every Harry Potter opening. I'm going to have I'm going to collect Dungeons and Dragons games. I'm going to collect that shit. I'm going to wear a pocket protector. I'm going to be who the fuck I am. A straight nerd. Because I diluted my nerd and I put all this other shit in and not understanding that it was just a culmination of my father who was a gangster. So I'm fighting my father who was a gangster and my mom who was a genius. And neither one of them, like my mom, she had the wherewithal because she threw me in Catholic school on the low. Like I'm fighting my demons, baby, but I'm going to tuck you over here with these white people and I hope you can stay. And I stayed till 7th grade. I stayed as long as I could. Right? And they put enough in me to like now I still have the ability to articulate and I still have the ability to summon some of my intelligence to use in a good way. So it wasn't a waste. She didn't have the gumption to keep pushing me. My family didn't know how to articulate to me to do it. They would tell other people. They would tell other people they're proud of me, but they would never tell me, not knowing that I needed the fuel. You telling somebody else don't gas my tank. And that's why I be in all those other spaces, because I really be clicking with them nerds. But then when they start talking that Pookie and Ray Ray shit and demeaning black people and demeaning black groups, I'm like, man, what the fuck is that? What, you a hypocritical nerd? What the fuck is that? Like, how you gonna be a nerd and then have fucking black female fuckery commentary? Like, stay in your lane, brother. So it's like, damn, you can't even click with the nerds over here because these motherfuckers ain't nothing but fucking elitists. I don't want to be no fucking elitist. You see what we go through, D. But I was saying to myself, like, I want to have the high-minded conversations, but I also want to figure out how to manifest what's in here to help my people out there. Am I like too big-eyed in my dreams, too wide-eyed in my dreams? Because white people and the Indian and Asian and Chinese, they shouldn't get to have all the fun. They shouldn't get to be the only ones that got startups that's not based in music or that's based in information and technology. Like, black people shouldn't have to go join white organizations to promote their intellectual properties. Like, everybody got a stake in us but us. You watch all these white billionaires, Bill Gates, all this and that. Most black billionaires got their money off the chipping circuit. All the black people who created the cell phone and created the chip for the computer and created the processor and all that. Like, why weren't they allowed to own companies and start their own Microsoft? Why aren't there any black car makers? Why aren't there any black electronic companies? Like, why are we not in the game? Why are we just bit players? Because being black and smart is not only a problem outside, it's a problem inside. Like, they have fun, man. Like, I enjoy it with making my little setup. I'm buying double monitors and boxes and shit. I'm 40 something years old, but I want to start building computers and shit because I want to have fun. I don't want to be mad no more. And now I'm understanding that the anger and the mad is just missing pieces. It's just energy that's not being used. I remember one of my mentors, I was building something for him. Yes, C.R. Patterson, yes. Because I'm about to talk about somebody at the end of the show. Before I end the show, my Black History person, I'm about to like kick it about somebody. And I remember I was building a garden. It's called the damn, what the hell is that? They changed the name. When we built it, it was called the Serenity Garden, right down the street in my block, in my hood, right? And you know, one of the ladies on the board was upset because she wanted the idea to be hers. Like, she a garbage worker, and she like, who this dude? She thought I was a thug, so she didn't really, because you know, she was. So when the guy explained to her, no, like, he really smart, he brought me the designs. Like, I did that shit myself, yo. I designed. I didn't have no idea. I never did a landscape design in my life. I just studied, researched. I did it. I presented it to him. He was like, yeah, let's do it. But just me being naive or just being new to it, I was bumping heads with the people on the board because they wanted to run it. They wanted to control my designs, my ideas. And I'm like, I'm not letting y'all do that. Like, we can compromise. So anyway, me and the lady get into it, right? And the chief of the program, right? He stops me. He's like, man, only if we can corral and harness that energy. And what he meant was, only if we can do something useful with it. This ain't it. It needs more. Like, I give this analogy about myself. Like, I know who I am. I know my name. I know it's a Buck and it's a Arthur, right? Buck is my father. Arthur is my mother. And they battling. See, Buck is content with the grass. He's never seen that much money that wasn't based in hustling. Like, oh my God, I don't gotta kill nobody. I don't gotta fight. I don't gotta stand outside all day. And I get the same money in my pocket, even more. And it's tax free. Buck is good. Arthur ain't good. Because Arthur is like, you know, on YouTube with RBR and them and this, that, and the third. And most of the time, the people just bring Buck out. He rarely get to be Arthur, though. When he gets to be Arthur, he's like, oh man, that was great. And then Buck like, man, we ain't doing that shit no more, man. We ain't gonna be sitting on the computer for hours. You ain't call that girl. You ain't chasing no money. What is wrong with you? And I don't want to kill Buck because I need Buck just as much as I need Arthur. But I need Buck to understand that Arthur is ready to do something big for his life. And he's ready to be smart. See, Buck is the personality that I had to use. I had to dumb down myself and just make myself just street tough. Duality. Some people call it a code switcher, straddling the fence. Right? But Arthur wants to do something before he leaves this planet. Arthur wants a legacy. Arthur wants to show the world that Black people can contribute and be just as successful if we believed in ourselves and we had a renaissance. I'm working on the renaissance. I swear I work on it every day, but I don't have, like, I'm not in an environment where I'm constantly getting the push to do it, and I'm more in Buck space than I am in Arthur space. So there's more, like a few minutes ago, like when everybody like, daddy, that's more of Buck. That's my work is downstairs, my boys downstairs, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? And Arthur's like, man, we doing it. We kicking it right now. We catch them later. So I like, in the conversation that I was listening to on the other thing, the brothers was really smart. They were really intelligent. I really enjoyed it, right? And I was like, this is the conversations that we need to have more. But the only problem with it was that the intelligent brothers was being told, like, it's cool to be intelligent, but you ain't gonna get no bitches, and that ain't what bitches want. So it's this thing called stoicism, right? Marcellus Aurelius, he's the father. People want to say it's Seneca. People want to say it's Zeno. It's neither one of them. It's Marcellus Aurelius. He wrote the Bible, Meditations. And what stoicism is about is take life as it comes. Right? Take life as it comes, right? Adapt and overcome. But don't let your primal wants and needs be at the forefront of who you are. See, because we are evolutionary beings, right? We developed, right? And a lot of times, like, my Buck is just a primitive person that's just like, it's the personality that I had to create just due to the trauma, due to everything to protect me, because Buck is Arthur's protector. Arthur doesn't have the wherewithal and the street smarts that Buck does. Arthur doesn't have Arthur doesn't have that toughness. He ain't ready to bite your head off. Arthur is the Captain Save-A-Hole, the simp, right? And Buck is the cold, like, fuck that bitch, man. I don't give a fuck about her. While Arthur's like, man, we really needed her. I don't know what the fuck you talking about. She would have benefited us. Buck like, man, that bitch wanted to control us. No, nigga, she wanted us to do better. And I know this may sound weird to people, but I know you've had this conversation with yourself. I know you came in contact with the side that is holding you back and the side that you want to live. And I think in our community, what happens is, since we're in these environments where we have to create these personalities and these alter egos to live life and to deal with all the shit that's around us, that it never gives our authentic self a chance to live. Like, these things are real. Your authentic self is real. Like, I'm trying to figure out, how do I find the environment that will allow me to integrate these beings and be one, where I benefit from Buck and Arthur, where Arthur benefits from Buck and Buck benefits from Arthur, but the world and the people around me benefit from both. Because I want to have fun too. Like, yo, man, like, doing these shows and learning how to do Photoshop and learning how to do OBS, that shit is fun. It's accomplishment. It's something I didn't know how to do 2 months ago, 3 months ago. And I think that's what black people, we need to, like, I go back to that story about the dude who became a doctor. You think he ever thought in a million years he could be a doctor? Now, being a professor is the career I want. Cause you don't just, I want to be a Renaissance man. That's why when I seen that nigga name, I say he hit it on the nail. Because Black America need a renaissance, and they need Renaissance men. See, the Renaissance was about promoting intelligence, promote a higher thinking, right? But what happens in our community, we feel like, we gotta have gatekeepers about everything. Like the Talented Tiff, it was their job to come and teach us all I guess you would say the joys of education and intellect and all that. But they thought you do that by telling you to change who you are, right? Instead of saying, okay, before you put this down, let me give you this to pick up. Let me let you make the smooth transition from where you at to something else. So I'm gonna just give you the information that I use to get to college and to get the higher learning. I'm gonna give you that and help you transition. We need a renaissance. And it shouldn't be steeped in who we fucking or who we ain't fucking, or if you got game, or if you getting bitches, or you slawing bitches out. It should be based on, how do we advance as a people? We need a renaissance. We need for intelligence and STEM and intellect to be in the forefront. See, now I understand why a lot of the British dudes, or a lot of the second and third generation African Nigerian brothers come in this space, because they wanna have some core, have some connection with us, right? But then when they see that our aspirations aren't the same as theirs, like I don't know if y'all know a guy named Soul Provider, right? Like Soul Provider comes in, and when he see fuckery, he'll put Windows XP, right? He talking operating systems. So he's saying you still haven't advanced to the new form of Windows. Y'all still on Windows 7. And at first I used to take offense, but now I understand. I be like, man, Soul is the ops. He coming in here to talk shit to black people and talk down to us. But his thing is like, why y'all not? We y'all at with this? And then there was a British brother on there, massaging our wall, right? He making his rounds around. So very intelligent brother. I would love to have a conversation with that brother because I like how he think. But sometimes I think they get too. Sometimes you could be too complicated, right? In a conversation, in a subject, you can be too complicated. Sometimes you ain't gotta dumb it down, but you gotta simplify it. And they were talking about the rite of passage, right? He said the one guy was talking about in Africa, a guy asked him as an African American, what's your rite of passage? And the guy's like, we don't have that, like, right? And the reason why we don't have a rite of passage, because our culture never stayed intact. Slavery broke any means of having a rite of you know what I mean, for black people, right? Peace, sweet pea, better late than never. You know what I mean? Better late than never, my love. Better late than never, right? And those rites of passages would be like the fuel for us, right? It would be the standard, right? Because we always, in the black community, we don't have no standard. Like, we don't have no, what's the standard? What's the SOP, should I say? What's the SOP for our existence? Right? What's the SOP? What's our standard operating procedure? What, like, okay, so in our community, education is paramount. Entrepreneurship, right? Community development, right? We don't have an SOP. And if we have a renaissance, then we can implement an SOP. We can say this is the standard. See, we listen to the Tariqs and all them, and they be like, they say code. We don't need a code. We need a standard. We live by enough codes. The code of the street, the code of the church, the code of the house. What does in the house stays in the house. What the fuck all them codes got us? No snitching. If your best friend see your wife cheating, man, I'm staying out of that, man. I don't want you to be mad at me, then you be bad with. We got enough fucked up codes as it is. Right? Because a code needs enforcement. So who is going to enforce the code? But a SOP is a standard. This is the standard. It's something to shoot for. If you don't know what you're shooting for, like when I messed my arm up, right? Like the first couple days in physical therapy, when I go back to the doctor and it was like I had a little setback, right? And the doctor was like, and I'm like, well, doc, what the fuck is what's our goals? What we trying to accomplish here? Like I just sit down and he put some heat on the arm, then he tell me to do this. What am I trying to accomplish? So the next time I went to therapy, I sat down and said, yo, man, what's our goals, man? He was like, okay, Arthur, what we trying to do is we trying to get your elbow and we trying to get all your extension back from what you shattered, right? Like, so that's our goal. So what we're doing now is we're building your flexibility. We're getting all of the things working out. We're trying to get the nerves, because my nerves is just on my left, by my thumb and down is messed up. So they're trying to get all that back working. So what's our standard? What we trying to set as the standard? What we trying to say? This is where we going. This is how we gonna get there as a people. Is it possible? Do you guys think it's possible to have something like that? Yeah, it was pretty serious, Sweet Pea. My arm pretty wrecked right now. Like, do you guys think that it's possible that some kind of modern renaissance, some kind of modern infusion of intelligence and intelligentsia? Do you think that if we collectively, if these civil rights groups and all these groups that call themselves, for the black community, if they came together and they said, this is the standing operating procedure for black Americans, And we'll make sure that we have the resources and the infrastructure in place that so when Black Americans need help or need information, we have an infrastructure in place that will provide that. Because everybody's not for us, folks. Like these things that we utilize in this world is not necessarily distinction for us. Where every other group, they have things that's distinctly for them. And all we do is partake in theirs. Like we can't create a Twitter. We can't, we have people like RBR that tell us don't do or don't think stuff like that because they find their comfort in the system. That's why they say no racism in the system. Because they don't want everyday people to buy out of the system. See, he wants you to buy into the system. He doesn't feel like we have the ability to do it on our own. And I'm not knocking my brother, he just comes from a different culture, different understanding. He comes from a boule culture, right? And in the boule, they feel like we're their underlings. See, it's so many people that hover above us, and it's like the helicopter moms and parents and shit. They hover above us, and they try to tell us what they think we should do. And what we're telling is, I don't want you to tell me what to do. I want you to provide me places where I can figure out how to do what I want to do, but I just know where to go to do it at. I don't need you to tell me how to be a teacher. How about I don't want to be a teacher? How about I want to be a rocket scientist? It's like even our own limit us. Like, I don't understand why, like, if there's a paucity of Black doctors, like why Black doctors throughout the country aren't setting up mentoring programs throughout inner cities to promote being a physician. I never understood that. I never understood, like, if we see a lack or we see a weakness, why we never rally the troops to address that weakness. Please get the likes up and the share. I'm losing people. Maybe it's me. Maybe I need to shut up. I think next week I'm going to just bring people on the panel. I was trying to avoid that, but I think sometimes I talk too much and people don't like it, but it's all good. I don't really think I'm doing it for the people that don't like me anyway, so. And before I close, I want to talk about my Black history moment and my Black history person, not moment, but the person that I want to highlight for this Black History Month, right? And I'm not doing this to go along with the nostalgia of Black history. Like, I'm not feeding into the nostalgia. I'm using this to feed you and feed myself and be more in tune with my heroes, with people that I look up to and people that are doing things that I want to do. And the person I want to talk about is Don Peoples. If you guys don't know who Don Peoples is a Black real estate developer, right? He's based out of Miami now, but he has developments in New York, Philadelphia, Brooklyn. I mean, he has. If you've seen yesterday's show, it was some pictures in the collage of some of his properties. And the reason why I talk about Don Peoples is, when you look in America, right, and you look in the big cities, right, and you see all them beautiful skyscrapers and shit, right, none of those buildings are Black owned, right? Like, and Don Peoples is a real estate developer who develops properties like that, right? And that's my passion. I went to college to be an urban planner because I'm into real estate. I love skyscrapers, as you can see. I mean, I eat and drink, and that skyscrapers is my thing. Skylines is my thing. Like, when I ride through a city, I always try to make sure I'm awake, or if I'm driving, I pay attention. I love skylines, right? I love global skylines. I love the Chinese skylines, Hong Kong, Shenzhen, you know what I mean? Beijing. I love LA skyline. I love Seattle skyline. I love the way Philly developing their skyline, right? Because what the people who are building those buildings understand is you gotta go up, right? And we've heard that from our great uprise, you uprise my mighty people, right? And see, what happens to us is we don't develop up, right? Even when cities and communities and states, even when they develop things for Black people, they just go horizontal. They don't go up, right? They go hard, they make the projects, they go horizontal, they keep us in close quarters, right? They don't go up, right? They don't give us the chance to be up in the clouds and look around and get the air up there and purvey the land. And then you purvey the land, you can see the land, right? And seeing it helps you dream and think big, right? We never go up. We never go vertical. We're always going sideways. And as a people, you can't go sideways. You got to go up. When you look at the Chrysler Building, the Empire State Building, those buildings were built like that because it was a dick swinging contest. The dude who built the Chrysler Building was like, this how big my shit is. And the dude's like, well, you know what? I'm going to build one bigger than yours. And my tip going to be longer, so that's going to make my building bigger than yours. I listened to him. But this is the thing. One time George Macon went over there, right? And George went hostile. He went intimidated, right? Intellectually, right? Well, he didn't go intimidated. He went to show them he just handled it wrong, right? His foray into it. But then they just was on some other shit. And when they was on that other shit, and then they start talking that, I just was like, I'm good. And I just turned them off ever since. Believe me, I went over there. I don't like that. I don't like that talking down to me because my connotation or my intonation may be different from yours. Or you may think because I don't speak the King's English as eloquently as you, or I choose not to at this moment, you feel like you're superior to me. I just couldn't take that. And they felt like they were superior to George. And it felt very awkward. So I just haven't been back over there. But I see you be over there. So I might go over there as your guest and just stay in the clouds and see what it's about. Maybe they've evolved and I need to give them a second chance. But we don't go up. And Don Peoples went up. And as he goes up, like, what Don Peoples showed me is that anything's possible. Him and his dad started it. He dropped out of Howard. They started in Washington. They started with a little building. They, a couple floors. And now they build tall buildings, right? Now they build mixed use facilities, right? Like once he went high, now I can go horizontal and I can mix it up. I can go horizontal high. You know what I mean? Right? I can give people what they're looking for. And he wasn't afraid to step into a realm and into an arena that doesn't have a lot of people that look like him in it. Matter of fact, he's probably the only one. Like we have some black construction owners, like, the guy Renaissance will talk about in Atlanta, right? And there's another sister that got a construction company in Atlanta, right? We know contractors and construction companies that's owned by black people. But what about development companies? See, we don't go high, y'all. We get distracted and we dive into these nigga trinkets and we dive into these lanes and alleys that they put us in and they tell us, well, this is for you and this is for you and this is for you. So when we watch the Russians and the Japanese and all other people come in and build buildings in these cities that we live in, like it's 1 million people in New York City, 1 million black people in New York City, 1 million. One of those buildings should be owned by black people. We've been here 400 something years. Some skyscraper in somebody's city should be owned by a black person. And we should all collectively be upset about that. We should start being collectively upset about the arenas that we're not in. And we should seek to do something about it. Because Don Peoples is black history. People might try to dismiss him because he married, so I don't give a fuck about all that. I don't give a fuck who you stick your dick in. Because I done put my dick on a crap table many a night. So I ain't about to tell a motherfucker how to play poker with their penis. And who they poking with it. But if you're a successful black man and you show me black excellence, I want to see your blueprint. How did you do it? Like my mentor is a construction worker, and I met my mentor just by watching him be a man. Just the simple act of him being a man. Opening the car door for his wife every day. I'm picking my people up from the train station. I watch this man get out his car every day. Never fail. Rain, sleet, snow, hell. He kiss her, grab her bag, open her door, make sure she is safe, get in, let her tie herself in. drive off. You can see their connection. I watched this for like 2 or 3 months. Then one day I was like, man, you know what? I'm going up to this dude. I went up to him. I said, how you doing, sir? I don't mean to bother you. And you know, it'd be a lot of panhandlers out there, so I know he thought I was about panhandling. I was like, listen, man, I just want to say that you've shown me something I've rarely ever seen in my life. Consistency when it comes to being a man. And he owns a construction business. He does, you know, heavy construction outside of Philadelphia. He built the Blue Route. He built like going over the Schuylkill River. Like he built some Schuylkill Western Schuylkill Drive. He built some shit over there. He's done jobs, and like one day he pulled up in a 4-door Maserati. Right? And my wife was like, how much does that car cost? I said about 100, 115. She was like, what? I was like, yeah. He took me for a ride, and the crazy part about it is he took to me so much. I remember one day he told his mother-in-law, he said, if Arthur lived in Philly, this would be my boss. This would be my motherfucking supervisor on my job. He want me to come up under him so bad. Because he wants to teach me how to be him. Not him, but teach me how to do what he did. Give me the opportunity to learn, because he see me down here struggling. He see how wild Trenton is. And he like, this ain't gonna grow you, bro. This ain't gonna get you where you trying to go. He said, this shit is crazy down here. And what we do is we pass up on opportunities to be around people. We don't want to change our environments because we so used to it. So the moral of the story is, be like Don Peoples. Go up. Don't go horizontal. Because 9 times out of 10, you're going to bump into the people that you've been bumping into, and you ain't going to get nowhere. And putting a fancy door and painting it and all that shit, it ain't going to change that you're still in the same environment. That's not going to be conducive to your growth. Once your dreams and your goals start changing, you got to start being around people that's going to make that shit manifest itself. Because we need to infuse the idea that intelligence and having a standard is very important. So if we black as a collective don't have a standard, I ask you today to set a standard in your life. Because I'm going to try. Set a standard. And if you already got one, kudos. And go teach other people. Shit, email me. Tell me how to do it. Because see, when you look at somebody like a Don Peoples, and you look at how, you know, and see, the thing is, like, when Don Peoples is a commentator on Fox News, on Fox Business News, with Maria Bartiromo, right? And we all know she's a racist prick. She's a racist, but when he come on there, she don't do none of that shit. She respects his G. And he gives his perspective and his ideas on the economy and on the real estate market and all the things that he's an expert in. And she accepted, and he vocalizes that he's a Democrat. He has no problem with saying, I'm a Democrat. And you know, when any other Democrat go on Fox, it's a I got you moment. Every question is a gotcha question. Every question is trying to undermine him and do some fuck shit. But when he's on there, they respect his intellect. They respect what he did, because as he went high, they had to look up at his accomplishments. They couldn't look down on him. They had to look up at what he did. So there was never going to be a dynamic where they looked down on him. Because the things that represent the People's Corporation rise up. So if we set that standard, and you set that standard in yourself, you're going to see yourself rise. And as you build each floor, you can determine what goes on in those floors. So let's try to be like Don Peoples. Let's try to have Black history every day, 365 days a year, by building a standard of how we live and how we function. And how we promote intelligence and how we promote ourselves. See, I know this shit this ain't the popular shit on YouTube. Don't nobody want to hear this shit. But it's akin to being high value. But in order to be high value, you got to have a standard first. And you can't let nobody else determine what that standard is. You got to have that conversation with yourself. Because 9 times out of 10, the standard is going to be a combination of all the personalities and all the shit that is you. Because the standard is going to have to be based on your strengths and your weaknesses. You just can't have no standard that's just unreachable, just fucked up expectations. You got to have something that you can reach. You got to have something that's in range. And as you integrate and you compromise and you get bigger and better, then you can raise your buildings. Or if you want to stop at that building and start a new one over here, then do that. Right? Because for me, that's the professor, right? That's the college, right? Then that's the building the communities with the real estate shit. And then that's building this media platform that I'm on right now. So I got plans for 4 developments right now. See the landscape and I'm good. I might go 1 more floor, right? Or I might try to convert it into a construction business, right? Which would be another vertical move. Cause see, this is how they talk in that world, right? In that world, in that tech world, in the business world, right? The Eurocentric business world, they talk like that. Vertical movement, horizontal movement, right? You hear that language, right? In their corporate structure, right? Because that when they use that language, it's relating to something. They're using that language for a reason. What they're saying is, this is how we're doing it. So if we're talking about horizontal things, we know they're going to be set. We know that there's a limit. There's a top, right? So we know how much to put into that. But when we're going up and we're going vertical, right? Because now you see that's the new twist in New York, the skinny vertical buildings, right? They're going up, 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 up. So yo, please try to create a standard in your life. Try to promote intelligence in your life. Try to be the best you that you can possibly be through that standard, through that promotion. So yo, before I wrap it up, man, Cash App is up there, man. Y'all can help a brother get a new mic. Just support the channel so I can keep going, keep showing up every day and build this platform up, man. Help me go horizontal with this, man. You know, hit the share and the like button. You know, tell anybody that's interested in conversations like this. You know what I mean? To come on over. I think next week I'm going to just do a little beta run on StreamYards and just bring some people up and just have some conversations and see where that go and see if I can just mix the two into my platform, because I don't just want to be here every day by myself, but I just wanted to start getting some of my things out there and just kind of establish myself. So that's why I've been going dolo from state to state lately. But I do want to start integrating my audience into it and having conversations with you guys, if not so much in the chat, but you know, on some panels every once in a while if we have a concrete conversation. So yo, also I do have a merch shop in my Streamlabs. So if you look up AC Star Morning Show in the Streamlabs, I got some t-shirts, you know what I mean, with the logo on there. With the AC Star Morning Talk Radio logo on there, you know, $20 just to help your boy out, man. You know what I mean? Just to get some different things popping off and just to get some different representation and promotion out there, man. So your boy do have the merch shop at Streamlabs, AC Star Talk Radio at on Streamlabs / AC Star Talk Radio merch, right? You just check it out. If you go on Streamlabs, you can see I got a little merch shop and you can purchase a t-shirt or a sweat hood or something like that, man. You know, it ain't expensive, $20, $25. I know it's rough out there, man, but you know, your boy just trying to do it. So yo, I just want to thank everybody for coming through, man. Sweet Pea, Miss FedEx, Renaissance, my EP, Miss Antea, and anybody else that's in the clouds listening. I thank y'all for coming through. And I want y'all to have a great weekend. I'll probably do some late night shit tomorrow. I want to holler at my man Psycho. It's all L after. Yeah, that's an L. Yes, ma'am. That's an L after that. Yeah, that's an L. That's a lowercase L. Yeah, that's a lowercase L, Miss FedEx. So, yeah, check out the merch shop, man. Y'all have a great weekend, man. Thanks for showing up, man. Thanks for rocking with me, y'all. I really appreciate y'all for inspiring me and motivating me, man, and being here to holler at me. This is your man, AC Star, and I really appreciate y'all.